Hi folks, it's me again. Obviously, I don't have to introduce myself. You saw me many times in the video, and if you did see in the video, and I don't know how you got it. So anyway, people ask me for a little bit more clear explanation on all the parts. So I did already a scan over to explain, so you will be put part of the video, or you're going to be able to see. I'm just going to give you a small demonstration against how it goes and how that voltage well, it's kind of hard to explain because this voltage reacts a different way than any other voltage I see, especially from the one from your outlet. It's kind of a different type of current, different kind of electricity, and a different type of amp. But nonetheless, when you turn it on, the light goes on. And what is really important about this power is it's a cold power. But it does produce heat. When it's demanded to produce heat, it will. But as you can see, I'm going to put my finger across the two bare wire, and I'm not feeling anything. I can hold that, for till the battery runs out, and I'm still not going to be electrocuted or feel anything. And this bulb is burning. This bulb is getting probably around about 80 to 90 degrees already. His temperature is rising up to his normal function. So it does create heat, so we know about that. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to sweep with the equipment to tell you what this thing, how much volt it pulled out, how much volt it push in. So let's find out what is going to be the output of this little thing when I put the meter on. So I'm going to make sure you see all that. $126 volts, 27, so that's my maximum. All right. So now we're going to do something, because I like lots of volts. I'm going to crank up. I'm going to crank up this motor. I'm going to give myself another extra 25 to 30 volts. And it's just simple stacks of magnet. I'm going to stick on each side of the motor, and I'm going to force the electromagnetic field to bend and shape itself and time itself in a different way. So let's see. What we're going to do is I'm going to show you how the difference on the light, what it does, to tell you that I'm actually putting more volts. So here's the light. I don't know if you saw, but this light went up quite a bit on the strength of it. Now I'm going to disconnect the light, and I will show you by the voltage I'm putting out now. Because it was 127 volts. Now I get 147 volts. That's 20 volts absolutely for free. We're not adding any other energy into the DC motor or increasing the voltage from the battery. So that is that. We'll put that aside. So now we're putting 147 volts. Now what we're going to do is we're going to hook up this transformer, which is a high output transformer. It's a transformer from an ozone machine. So this ozone machine put out 55 to 65,000 volts at the output, which would be in those two output wire. There's only 2 in, 2 out. So we're going to pump out the voltage up 1 steps. Now we're going to create a loop with this bulb here with the end of the transformer. So we'll put one end of the transformer from the side of that bulb. Then here's a sparky, I call them, and you heard about sparky before. It's just a spark gap. It just tells you, you can open that up and close that up as you want there. So we'll do is we'll hook up that in series so I get a spark. Okay. Now I'm going to use my little burn fluorescent as a tester. So I'm going to adjust the spark, and you will see when I adjust the spark, this bulb will illuminate by itself. Just it's burnt. You can see the two black bars in the bottom. Even that I cannot activate with my machine. Normally I can light up burn fluorescent bulb, but this one is really burned because the only will light up is when you actually feel radiation. So we'll put that there, and we're going to start it. As you see, that little light bulb come up, it's bright a little bit, and I got the spark here. Now I can make this bulb disappear. So I'm not creating any radiation, and this bulb won't light up because my volt is way higher. I'm just using that bulb as a resistance or a bridge between the wires. So now I'm going to open up the gap, and you will see now the bulb is glowing. Now I'm going to find out how many amp and how I'm going to adjust that to create amp. Okay. Now I'm just going to check it up and find out. Okay, right now I'm reading between 90 amp and 110 amp on my meter. Now I don't want you to believe me, so I'm going to do something here. I'm going to swing this around. What I'm doing to save the world. It's ridiculous. Now you're going to have to look at upside down. Okay, I'm going to run it, and hopefully, let me see if I can zoom up on that here. Oops. I can't zoom up. I guess I can't zoom up when I'm recording for some reason. But anyway, let's try it this way. We'll turn that on and hopefully you'll be able to see the energy. 112, 110 amp of energy of radiation. That's called cold radiation, by the way. It's the same radiation we got to read for the hot radiation. That's what this thing is picking it up. I'm bouncing to 110 to 114 amp, and I can tune it up all the way up last night to 200 amp. Now, seeing that, now let's see how much volts, because we all know I'm putting out 147 volts. We're going to push that to see how many volts I'm putting now. I'm feeding 390 amp back into this pump. Almost 400 amp. I mean 400 volts, sorry. 400 volt, not amp, 400 volt back into a unit which only produce 147 volts. Now where's the volts come from? Good question. Now let's see how many hertz this machine put out. Now we're going to go back here. Actually, this is a good setup that way. I can work better when it's set up that way. Let's go for hertz. Okay, since my meter has got the hertz and it's got hertz of pretty high, we can go a lot. It's an industrial commercial voltmeter. Now let's start that again. I'm pushing up 158 hertz. Okay, that's what my machine puts out. That little pump there, that little generator, whatever you want to call, that's all he put. Now we will rehook it to the loop. It's called a closed loop with the transformer, the light bulb, and Sparky. Now let's see where my hertz at today. .34, 5.1 kilohertz. Now you have to understand 1 kilohertz is 1,000 hertz. The machine only put 153 hertz. Now I'm putting 3 kilohertz, and I have this thing cranked up. When it's tuned up finally, you can get it all the way up to 58 kilohertz. Now the question is, why I'm getting so much amperage back feed into my pump, and why I'm getting such a high hertz? Well, the hertz is understanding Sparky has got a gap, and when you make high voltage jump, you're actually distorting the hertz, you're increasing, and you can stretch the gap, then the hertz will be lower. It will go up. If you get a long gap like a 3/8 to a half an inch gap, you will pretty much go down to maybe 200, maybe 240 hertz. But soon you bring that gap, that means you have more effect to jump, easy effect to jump, so you jump faster, it doesn't have to accumulate for so long before you jump, then your hertz increase tremendously. I mean, we're talking about thousands of percent, it increase. So now we have an increase by doing a jump. Now there's another test I'm going to do here. It's called that radiation temperature. Now radiation temperature, the difference between the distance between hot temperature, hot radiation, and low radiation below zero, the distance between the two on the gap, on the spark gap, because that's what is all happening, the length of the gap, right? The distance between the two temperature up or down below zero is about the thickness of a razor blade's edge. That's how fussy it is. You have to be very, very precise. That's what my Sparky is not that precise, and I can get sometimes. I'm lucky. I reach the right setup. I pump up 200 amp. I can pump up voltage, blow up past my meter. That is very fussy. You need a very good piece of equipment to bring those gaps exactly. And we're talking about by the thousands of an inch. Even that, I mean, it's not giving it fair measurement. It's so minuscule, it's very sensitive, and this thing is just made to find out if your gap is an eighth of an inch or a quarter of an inch or half an inch. It doesn't give you a very precise, it just check how the density of your discharge of your coil is. But I'm using that for that because it gave me a steady reading. Now I'm going to show you a temperature which is a regular infrared laser beam temperature, and you know it's pretty straightforward. And what it does, it reads temperature. When you strike the beam, it gives you the temperature of my couch right there, 21 degrees, right? Can you see that? Yeah, 20 degrees. So you see the dots, that's the temperature of that ladder over there. So obviously the thermometer is working because I can take ambient temperatures right on the money. Now we're going to make this thing spark again. Let me move that away. We'll find out where the temperature goes. Now, just for example, I'm going to temperature of the spark is 27 degrees, 24 degrees. So let's see if he's going to maintain that. Now, just this spark here is minus 90, minus 60. Now let me see. Now see, I'm minus 100, I'm minus 200 Celsius. That's the temperature of my spark. But it's not just the temperature of my spark. It's also the temperature 200, 300 degrees below 0 Celsius. That's the temperature of the bulb. Okay, I'm gonna look. Can you see the number? 37. The temperature here, I lock it in. Minus 372 Celsius. Minus 135 Celsius. Minus 160 Celsius. Now, you said your thermometer is not working properly. 21 Celsius, the couch is back to normal temperature. Now, how can an electronic device can be so wrong and so right and so wrong and so right all the times? I build electronic. I cannot build that. I cannot make an electronic who will give me a wrong reading and a right reading 2 seconds later. It is impossible. So we're having a very simple matter here. Everything is happening is in here, in the gap. The distance between the jump is, it seems to be is a very fine line as how we split. It's like a neutral zone. And when you reach that neutral zone, any way that way, it will create heat. And a certain way that way, it will create extreme cold. But not all the way up to the point contact. Soon you get really, really close, there's almost no contact, it turns back to hot. So we have a phenomenon which is actually working in a very, very narrow zone. And the temperature we're reading, obviously, is radiation. It's not, I mean, anybody can come up with a cockamamie story. This is a Geiger counter. So is an amp meter. This is a closed loop Geiger counter. He reads the radiation around the wire. That's what he's got a fan. He reads the radiation and he keep that together and he give you an amp reading. So it doesn't matter if the radiation is cold or hot. As long as it's in the same numbers. Let's say my temperature is 300 below 0 Celsius, then my temperature to read that many amp on the wire should be 300 degrees Celsius above 0 to read that kind of temperature here for the same temperature. So it goes both ways. It doesn't have a difference. It just gives you the transfer number from radiation to amperage. That's all this unit does. It doesn't pick up radiation going because it's got a closed loop. It's got an iron bar going inside so you can keep everything together. So that's the explanation of this. This is the explanation of that, right? Now, everybody always says they want to find intelligence. Well, I find out something with this little thing. It's more intelligence than me. This thing can turn itself easy by itself. And here's another little probe here for testing hot circuit. You know, if you're working your wires and stuff like that, you want to make sure the wire's not hot. You just put that around and close to the wire, and it will start beeping because it runs under radiation. It reads that little antenna on the end. There is an antenna. It picks leakage of radiation around an AC current with an oscillation. So he picks the sharp points of it. So what we're going to do, we're going to turn this on back again. Here's the light bulbs, and the light bulb is burning, and I'm going to see, actually I'm going to turn this table back to where it was so you guys can see it better now, since the other one is pretty much, there we go. Now, back to 0. Now you will see when I put that beside the wire, it will start beeping. It will detect high wave radiation. There you go. Okay? You can hear it beeping. You can hear it beeping. You know, you can hear it beeping. and you can hear it beeping. But this side doesn't beep because it's a resistance. Okay? So now what we're going to do is change the light bulb, because that's a straight element. That's a condensed bulb, and it's just a straight element. It's like a bridge. We're going to put another one there. There we go. Oh, so something was happening here. There we go. Now we have absolutely no more AC currents. This transformer turned itself off from AC to a straight DC square wave current. Still an alternative because we have oscillation, so the magnet is spinning and we have oscillation. But we do not have any more AC. Okay? Really dead, dead. Now, if this is not intelligence, since it's no circuit, electronic circuit, who can make that decision for him, there's nothing out there to make his decision besides this guy says, I can run way better in DC than I can run in AC. So can you please give me AC or DC? That's just a simple order through a computer. Why this thing, which is have no computer in it, does that by itself? That's another question I cannot answer. That's a dark hole. But as you can tell, this thing, it does all kinds of weird things, massive amount of output. The only thing now we have to produce is to take this energy and convert it back into a usable energy. And it's not that complicated. I'm trying to figure it out because it's not a technology that have to be invented. This technology, it's already here. You know, we already have the same type of currents coming up from the power line, and soon he hit your pole transformer, it got transferred and bring down here, and it's hot. Even today, with a friend of mine, we went to Chilliwack. They have a factory where they actually build transformer, all kinds of size of pole transformer. And I went down there. I said, and I'm doing research on transformer. I said, can I have a picture of the inside of a transformer, or a drawing, or anything, so I can see the inside of a transformer, so I can literally, you have to reverse engineering everything to understand how it works properly. If you can't reverse engineering a piece of equipment, you will never understand how it works properly, because most of the time the people who build it, they'll lie to you to tell you it works different. It's just common knowledge and common doing, just to protect people who don't really steal all the stuff. But then again, China steals everything. So anyway, so at that point in time, try to find a transformer to be able to study in reverse engineering, so I can take this and put it back and convert the radiation to hot radiation. It's just a question of a gap. So at this gap, it's very important. I want to know how they replace the gap, or is they still using the gap inside the transformer to make that switch over. And that's one of my big question now, is to be able to get my hand on the pole transformer. I like to get my hand on the old pole transformer, because those ones old technology, and I like to put my hand on a new pole transformer, which has got the new technology. Apparently the new pole transformer are dry, they don't have oil in it. So if it are dry, that's mean they have electronics in them. You know, that's the only reason I would see to make that dry. And so they have a different system in it, and I think the different system is the spark, the one who flip the electrons and make it hot instead of cold. Now, I did some video. I do have some light bulbs. Okay, you can actually, with your eyes, if you're making one of those, you can actually see a pure flow of electron into a bulb. And I'll show you what I use for the bulb. It's a very simple bulb. It's a 1000 watt high pressure sodium. A lot of people, they will recognize that. These are using for growing pot, for God's sakes. So it should be an easy one to find out. The Mongol the two wire coming out. I do not light up this bulb with this machine. I use him as an instrument to be able to see the flow of electron. And for some particular reason, when I don't know why I got that idea to use that, it works. You can actually visually see a beautiful flow of electron, active and not active. That means hot and cold. And when I mean hot and cold is one doesn't create radiation. It will make the tube blue, beautiful blue, with a nice, beautiful little round film in the middle, and it's very stable. So when you activate the spark to get the radiation up, then the blue almost disappear, and you see the white ribbon flowing. And there's no connection on those tubes. They're totally, it's just a vacuum tubes. The glass is high pressure sodium glass, which means extremely heat resistant. It's very, very, very on a high end temperature of the glass. And so this glass is not getting hot anyway because I'm not producing any heat. Matter of fact, I'm producing past the absolute zero, which is 274 Celsius below zero, or 455 or 53 degree below zero Fahrenheit. That's what the world knows about, and that's what the scientists tell you, and NASA, and blah blah blah, right? So they know better than I do, but anyway. And anything past that cannot be achieved or cannot be read. I don't know. I'm reading it, so I must be different than any other people, and my instrument must be different than everybody's using the same instrument. It's just a bloody jet laser thermometers, which, you know, it's been very useful for my last 3.5 years. I'll be using a lot of that. Never tell me wrong for once. And but the whole point of trying to come up with a type of energy which almost free. I mean, there's no such thing as free. I mean, free, you know, it's got to be made somewhere. Energy have to be spent to make that stuff. So it's nothing really free in the world. But if you have an instrument at home or some type of unit at home who can take a transformer, a pole transformer, and oscillate the pole transformer by itself with no moving parts, then you wouldn't have to pay for electricity anymore. You just buy the transformer and the unit, put on top of the transformer, hook up the wire, hook up that to your breaker box, and c'est la vie. That's the way it goes. That's it. You throw the switch in, you have power as much on demand as you want, as long as the transformer is capable of giving it to you. So that's the capability of the transformer. So the thing is, try to develop something like this in one person is pretty hard. I mean, I've been doing it now for almost a year, 10 months for sure. And my friend here, she doesn't like to be on TV, but she's sitting just beside me, and she knows me very well. And I've been on it for straight almost 10 months. And well, you know, that's the way it goes, right? But I have other people now who's around the world, Australia, London, the States, and probably some other place of the world I don't even know they started doing it, but they're building those things and try to figure how to manipulate the energy, since the energy is such a high energy coming out of that. Sorry, I guess something's happening and I get a timer or whatever, but anyway, back to what we're talking is, I have lots of people right now. I got 4 people actually. They have this almost half 3/4 built, and they'll be able to do some. They already did some tests with the blew their mind already. Just making AC current out of nothing is an achievement in its own. That way you don't have to have an oscillator or whatever. It does the oscillations. It all depends on the speed you're spinning it and the volt. You can multiply it. And what is nice about that, you can multiply it. Keep on multiplying as many times all you got to do is hook up transformer, and pretty soon you will have billions of volts in the end. It doesn't stop. It doesn't have a limit. The multiplication can go on and on and on. But if there's anybody out there who are interested to help me out, technically it's fine. But if you do not understand technically, if you're interested in that, and you want to help me out, and more likely it boils down to you got to buy the transformer, you got to take some time and stuff like that. I already gave almost a year of my life, you know, to develop that for people to have it for free. And I'm just about ready into my rope. If I don't find anybody who are willing to step up to the plate and give me a hand on that, I will have to put that away for I don't know how long, but I'm going to have to go back to work and then start paying my bills and my debt I accumulate during the 10 months, and try to keep on going with that. But if there's anybody out there who's willing to, you know, to jump on the wagon with me, I'm not making that to create a market to start pumping those things out if we create it and sell it for $50,000 a piece, like the rest of the stuff we're buying in the store, which is only worth $1 out of the manufacturer, and they want $30 to $40 in a retail store. Like, you know, what people did to this unit of $1 can be worth $20 in the other end. Transportation doesn't cost that much, especially from China. The government of China pay for the transportation, the shipping, all the way up to the port of Vancouver. Believe it or not, check it out. That's the government for us, right? Everything have to be overpriced and overthink. This is one thing you can do for yourself to gain some freedom. Energy. If you think about energy, energy is no other biggest business in the world, because it's very simple. Turn the switch off of the power plant around the world. You, in 24 hours, are pushed back into the Stone Age. In 72 hours, millions of people will die, period. It's no two way about it. They will die. They have no power. We are addicted and we are attached with two shackled to your legs and arm to the company who produced the power. Now, I send that to newspaper around the world. Not one want to pick that up. But the reason is they have a little operating license, the business license, right? And they cannot say anything who will make any wave of that business license, because that business license is an operating license owned by the government. So if you don't like what the government will say, if you don't like us, we're just going to turn your switch off, which literally would be illegal, because we have a law. We're not supposed to have, what do you call that, only one company who supplies something is the monopoly. Is a law in Canada against monopoly. But the government does it every day, right? But if you want to try to do it, well, you're going to get crushed. So we know already we've been lied to since the day one of your birth. That's when the lie started. The minute you take the first breath of air, now, because with the carbon tax, you start paying for the air you breathe. There's no end to it. You move, you pay. You move there, you pay. You know, you go to the bathroom, you pay. Where do you don't pay? I want to tell me one person who can reply to me and tell me, where do you not pay to make any motion? It costs money. It doesn't matter. It's called energy displacement. And energy, you buy the energy, so it costs you money. But here's one thing you can take away, is the payment every 2 months of energy. And be afraid of turning a light or turning this and leaving the light on. My God, people, they have panic. They're driving to work. I forgot the lights on. They almost have an accident because they're freaking out. No, they're driving and they're texting home and telling the people to turn the light off. This is the kind of society we're actually living in. You know, literally. I mean, people have literally no brain to think, or no brain matter to process stuff, which is kind of sad when we're living in a society of stupid. In a society of pre-programmed stupid is even worse than just a regular stupid. You know, I do stupid thing all the time. I slam my feet on something. It was not too smart because it hurt like hell. But to make a purpose to be stupid, that's a different level. I mean, a couple of years ago I said we reached the level of the epiphany of stupidity. But this year I find out, boy, I was wrong. We reached a level of apocalypse. If we still go into this path as the stupidity we are today, We don't have 50 years. I don't think we have 25 years, because the stupidity will wipe us off of this planet. Literally wipe us out. We're going to wipe ourselves out, because now the pollution, the radiation, hey Slinky, the problem with Japan, just the problem with Japan, if the people cannot see that, we don't hear from what's going on in Japan. In the next 15, 20 years, is nobody alive there. They said that in the next 10 years, 60% of the population will be dead of Japan. And you tell me radiation is not here? We have radiation here from Japan probably about a month later. The coast, the west coast, the seafloor is dead from radiation. We have the government remove a sensor from the island. They moved it somewhere in the interior. It's past Cranbrook, because the coast is so high in radiation, they would go off all the time. But they don't tell you that, right? It's also stuff you have to trip over and ask yourself, well, why is that thing is there, right? But we have misinformation, and the biggest misinformation is from the newspaper, the TV station, the radio station, or they're all working for one person, the person who pays their bills. And most likely is the government through the taxpayer. Now, how are you going to get the truth out of the newspaper or the news and TV when their paycheck is signed by the guy who says, I'm telling you what to tell, you're not saying what you're seeing, or you have no job tomorrow? Now, I know I've been to communist countries, and I'm telling you, in communist countries, you have a whole lot more freedom when it comes to do stuff around you, because you won't have a government official looking over your shoulder and say, hey, you cannot put this table here, you got to put it over there. You know, when the people is going to really wake up and smell the coffees, you know, hopefully before I'm dead, because I like to see that, because in my belief, civilization is garbage, period, because we have no common sense. We cannot find common sense. I can drive all day long. You go into a store, there's a clerk behind the store. Well, 25 years ago, a clerk behind the store knew what he was in the store. Now you go and ask a simple question, and they look at you like a deer in the headlights. And if you really want to screw up a clerk, a cash clerk, when you go and pay whatever, you finally spend an hour try to find in the store where you want to finally find, you bring to the cashier, throw a handful of change on the top of the counter. They don't know how to count. They either want to take their break or quit their job right away, because they just panicked, because now they have to count coins, because they don't know how to count anymore. If the bill doesn't say $20 bill, they don't know what it is. And that's too sad. I mean, like, you know, we really living in a world of depleted, I would say brain depleted society. Hey, I'm just giving another shot at the can, another kick at the can, try to see if there's anybody, you know, who we can save a small amount of people. Even if it's only 500,000 people with their own power, who are disconnected. They can grow their food. They can grow anything. They can control element with energy. Without energy, you can control. You're at the mercy of the element with no energy. When you have energy, you can control the environment of the element around you. And this is the reason you can go forward in life, to be able to control the element. And the element, as you look out the window today, which is not really nice, and it's changing constantly, and you're not going to get better. It's going to get a lot worse before it gets better. We're going to need a lot of energy to be able to survive. And I'm telling you, if you don't have your own power or your own generator of any kinds, you will have a tough time in the year coming ahead. So here it is, like, you know, I'm just a simple guy trying to make a difference. And, like, you know, and one person cannot overcome the world. So I knew that from the beginning, and I was trying to get as much as possible on my own. And but I'm running to the end of my wit, so it's just a question of funding, and right now it's just a question of funding, buying the transformer, studying the transformer, reverse engineering it, see what's the big thing, because it's just a Tesla technique. I mean, Tesla designed all that, literally. I mean, like, you know, Westinghouse didn't design crap. Westinghouse, before Tesla came out, they were making steam turbine, you know, with a coal burning boiler, and wooden stove and wooden furnace. That was Westinghouse, you know. So I mean, like, you know, when Tesla came in, he created Westinghouse Electric for them. So it's not complicated. It's just a question that they hide all the information. You cannot see the information. Those patents, they're being expired for generation, and we still can't see the patent because Westinghouse still own the right of manufacture and delivery of AC current, alternating current, pretty much around the world. So that's what all those windmills, it takes so many windmills to create so little power, because it cannot create the same electricity that Westinghouse is creating, because Westinghouse creating is called coal radiation, coal current, which is super cheap to produce on a large volume. As you can tell, look, I'm putting 1 amp, I'm reading over 100 amp of radiation. I'm putting 1 amp of hot radiation, I'm getting over 100 amp of cold radiation, which is the same performance than the hot amp. All you got to do is flip the temperature on it. So I'm just trying to, you know, try to get something together. Hopefully, I got some friend is calling me now from my last video at YouTube, and but right now we're done. We have to take that into a shop, and we have to take some serious study on the transformer, how to produce the electricity. I can duplicate that with no moving parts. I duplicated it a couple of days ago. I can upgrade all that stuff with no moving parts. I'm actually working on a self-oscillating ring, which actually will give me roughly around about 15 to 16 volt DC at probably 2 to 3 amps, and that's all I need. After that, I don't need no battery, I don't need no moving parts. I can just jump right into a inverter and get my 60 hertz oscillation and move my 60 hertz, or you can adjust the hertz at the other end. Just before you dump it into the transformer, you adjust your hertz to 60 hertz. So this, for any engineering or new electrical and electricity, correcting hertz is not a hard thing to do. We do that all the time now. So there it is. I mean, like, you know, I mean, the instrument not lying to you. I'm showing the number right in the front of you. What you put in and what we put out is just an immense amount of energy. So if there's anybody over there who want to throw a few bucks with me and put this thing and push this thing forward, so maybe if we don't do the world, well, at least we'll have free electricity for ourselves to go up in the mountain and enjoy our life for the rest of our life. So who is with me on that one? See you guys.